I'm having a little bit of deja vu because it seems to me this debate seems to kind of come up every year, uniforms in public schools. So last year, Beaconsfield High School brought in mandatory school-branded shirts. This year, it's happening at John Rennie High School, even though when they did polls, the majority of people said they would rather not have uniforms. Is it just being done to make it easier for schools to avoid confrontations over dress codes? Maybe. Albert Kramberger asked that question in a recent article. He's a West Island columnist with the Montreal Gazette. He also points out that the timing ain't great, given the rising cost of food prices and cost of living. Albert Kramberger joins us now. Thank you so much for your time today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So what do you think is really behind this decision, and why is it being made, given that doesn't seem to be what the vast majority of people actually want?
Yeah, well, it's so surprising. I mean, not surprising that students were against it. The parents were sort of split, and I think, slight more where people were against it and for it kind of thing, which not totally surprising. The teachers were for it. I say the school governing board mentions a striking majority of the teachers who supported it. I think it boils down to, I think it was brought up as a security measure too, right? If someone it's not wearing a John Rennie shirt that's walking through the schools and might potentially cause trouble, they could easily spot them kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, students walking into school, they might have their John Rennie t-shirt, kangaroo sweatshirt underneath, but they come in jackets for most of the year, right? Or coats. Hopefully in the winter they come with coats on. But I mean, walking in, in the morning or at the end of the day, you're not sure who's a student always if they have a coat jacket on, right? Because the jackets aren't John Rennie logos or anything too. And even a logo on a gray shirt, like some of these logos, some of the options, the logo is like a small little patch on the top. Someone could be wearing a black shirt. You're not going to spot it from behind, whether it has a John Rennie logo or not on it, kind of thing. And I think it was the main reason. I guess there was some controversy. It comes up every year too, as you had mentioned about school uniforms, is the dress code, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or strapless or not strapless shirts, but whatever, some shirts. The
spaghetti straps. That was one of the big debates.
Skirts are too short, that kind of thing. And obviously, I think it's sort of come to, it's been reported a lot of times the attention on what girls are wearing at the school as opposed to boys for the most part.
Yeah.
At least what's, been in the news for over the years. I think a lot of it had to do with teachers uncomfortable with enforcing dress code, that every school has their own dress code of what to wear and what not to wear. Some could be a t-shirt with inappropriate, artwork on it or something, or, in the length of clothing kind of thing, or, see-through or something. And I think teachers are uncomfortable with that. So they figured, if everybody has to wear a school top that has a logo on it, they're all the same. They're all going to be black and gray, and, there might be short sleeve, whatever too, but there's no, all the clothes will kind of look the same, I guess, and then hopefully it'll go with the teacher. So I can understand that too, but I mean, it seems like a costly venture for parents, because if you have an older teenager, and then in my case, I have a son who goes to school. He wants a certain amount of tops from his collection. He seems open to wearing it, kind of thing, but he wants have a big selection where he'll have different shirt, t-shirts with collar, t-shirts with no collars. Same thing for sweatshirts, and it adds up, kind of thing.
Sure.
Someone's like, okay, well, this saves you from buying whatever shirts regular shirts from the store. I think I mentioned McCollum, but the thing is, your teenager might want those as well, kind of thing. So
that's the thing.
Those seems like, whatever. We said it's a public school. It's not a private school where you sort of anticipate they're going to have uniforms of some kind.
Okay, I want to stop you for just a second. As I'm listening to this, I think to myself, so I went to a school, I went to what was West Hill High School, which is now Royal Vale. When we were maroon jackets and gray pants, that was the school uniform.
Now
is it still?
Now it's like a t-shirt and gray bottoms.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself as I hear you talk and suggesting that, if you're not doing this and dressing up this way, even in a public school, there's all this money you're spending on for a uniform. Some parents say it's not fair. But if kids have their own way, they would want to be able to wear whatever they want to school every day, and then at some point want more this and more that and another shirt and another sweater. Whereas if you just had a uniform, that uniform remains the same the entire year. It would seem to me that actually saves you money, doesn't it?
I guess, yeah. It's just it might be that case but in some cases, every parent has to put their foot down. You might have to spend up to $300 on the school uniform, and your son or daughter may still want you to buy the other clothes because they don't necessarily want to wear a John Rennie shirt after school to a friend's house or to the movie theater or to the shopping center.
Yeah, but if everyone's wearing it, I mean, that kind of takes that whole fashion aspect out of it, right?
Well,
We're all wearing the same shirt.
It does and it doesn't, though, because you're still, this is the whole idea, right? I think the principle is, yes, to avoid conflict with dress code issues, but it's also supposed to kind of serve as a great equalizer. But if one family can only afford to buy one T-shirt and one hoodie, and another family can afford to buy 5, so that, that and a bunch of different, and then the shoes that they're wearing, the coat that they wear over it, that all still comes into play. So I don't know that it's actually that effective, Albert. What do you think?
Well, that's the thing too. Like, is enforcing the dress code such a challenge? My daughter graduated from high school, and so she finished 5 years of high school. She picked her own clothes starting, at an earlier age or preteen kind of thing. I didn't see it being an issue with her or any of her friends. So it seems like they're solving a problem that doesn't really exist, Maybe on a small case-by-case basis, someone wore something to school is inappropriate, so now the whole school has to have school uniforms because they had one incident 2-3 years ago, or 2 incidents. It just seems like, I think I mentioned in the article, there's like over 1,300 students who go to school. How many of them, how many cases did they have of inappropriate dress code? And they mentioned the governing board meetings that they loosened their dress code last year too, like no caps or hats kind of, or you couldn't wear a hoodie over your head. And then there were some, and they weren't enforcing the dress codes, and they had, issues kind of thing. But I mean, I don't remember any riots breaking out or some sort of incident where, I'm not even sure they didn't mention specifically what it was, spaghetti shirts, straps, short skirts, or they're talking about some, inappropriate logo.
The idea being here, it's not fair to have an potential additional expense for parents at a time when we're already, everybody's hurting a little bit. Everyone's having a hard time making ends meet. So, the price that parents are paying for it, for the convenience of staff, perhaps, to not have to enforce the dress codes, I don't know that it adds up. But I appreciate your perspective. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, I had mentioned the column that not even like a majority of parents were, the parents were split at least 50-50 down the board of the ones who replied to a survey. It seemed like even parents weren't really in favor. The students, you figure, were going to say no.
And staff was on board, predictably, as well.
The governing board, I mean, they had a vote, and it wasn't unanimous, whatever, but,
That should tell you something in and of itself, right? The fact that even they couldn't come up with a unanimous decision. We're out of time. I want to thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the time this afternoon. I'm just going to say, you're a mom here. Your daughter's going to be in a situation like this.
Yeah, we're choosing high school next year.
Is it a problem?
I have very mixed feelings about it, but I do ultimately kind of see it as being a simpler option. I just think there should be measures put in place to keep those prices down. Now, these prices were pretty low, I have to say, on the whole. Okay. We're talking $13.50 for a T-shirt, $26 for a kangaroo, a hoodie.
It's an equalizer. If all the kids are basically the same, it's not about, look, your shoes are nicer than my shoes, or you have more.
That's still going to happen,
Is
though.
it?
Mm-hmm.